Tuesday. It is no Tuesday, November 28th, the 331st day of the year. There are 34 days left in 2023. And welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Thom. Well, it's officially the holiday season. Yep, we're right around the corner from Christmas, and already you can tell, or at least I can tell, the bell ringers are out. People have decided they will be nicer during the holiday season, nicer and kinder. And that's always good. So let's hope it continues. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I did. More about that in my closing. Oh, and if you're looking for me to say something about the game this past weekend, Auburn versus Alabama, I thought it was a great game. Lots of back and forth, some unbelievable plays and happenings. And congratulations to Alabama. They had a little more at stake than we did. It was good. Everybody played hard. It was exciting. So, again, congratulations to Alabama. And we could have done a couple of things different at the end, but we didn't. Our G-List guest from last week, Eric Jones, and his 25 Days of Christmas. We got a copy of his book. It's good stuff. You should get one. If you're interested, you should pick one up. He gives you much of the history of Christmas music. Our G-List guest today is Justin King. Justin King is a senior at Auburn University from Brentwood, Tennessee. He has served in the Beat Bama Food Drive the past 4 campaigns and as the president in this past year's 30th drive. Our show today, of course, is sponsored by the Best Girl Consulting Firm. Let's hear from Best Girl.
Best Girl is a consulting firm that provides customized leadership, access and inclusion, public relations, communications, and organizational consulting services. Clients include Fortune 500 companies, utilities, higher education institutions, small businesses, and associations. Best Girl's team of consultants, led by Joyce Gilly-Gossam, Emily Hedrick, and Sean Jones, partners with business and education clients to promote organizational effectiveness, communication, motivation, and leadership, with always an impact on the bottom line. Best Girl's customized consulting services include strategic planning, corporate communication, executive coaching, fundraising, and economic development.
Best Girl customizes a solution that fits your needs. So let's get to our roundtable regulars. I think they're a little fired up this morning. Let's get to Barbara Wallace Edwards and Michael Walker. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you all doing?
Doing well. Hope you are too. Good morning, Barbara.
I am. So, Barbara, where are you now?
I'm at home. I'm in Birmingham. I got back last night. Yes, I was down in Auburn over the weekend and down to the lake. And I got a chance to go to the game on Saturday and applaud our team for playing a great game. We still came out on the losing end, but I would say I was pleasantly surprised how well we played. Because most people didn't give us a chance at even the game being that close. So congratulations to Alabama for winning, but Auburn basically beat themselves. So,
Michael, you where are you now?
Well, I'm in the Caribbean. I'm coming from you down south, way south.
You didn't get to see the game then, huh?
Well, I did. Actually, I saw parts of it here at the place that I'm saying. I could see it. You know, they don't have high def television here. It's called standardized television. So the picture looks a little funny, and I thought it was my eyesight until somebody else told me, no, that was the network they had. But anyway, I was able to watch the game. They had it on here.
All right. Well, you guys want to make some comments about it?
Well, I'll just say that I concur that the guys showed up and played. They got up for this game. There were a lot of doubts considering the performance or the lack thereof the week before. And, that's disappointing. But they did show up on Saturday and played. And I told some people that this team doesn't quite know how to win. And what I mean by that, it's a mental game as well, and you gotta really be thinking when you're out there. Case in point, that last play in that touchdown, the guy that was guarding the Alabama receiver in a situation like that, he was beat or something, why not just commit a foul? You know, every time you commit a foul, it's not a bad foul. Sometimes it works into your advantage if you use it strategically.
And in college ball, you only get a 15-yard penalty, you know?
That's my point exactly.
The NFL is the 1-yard line.
Right, Tom. I mean, it was 4th and 31. So if he committed a pass interference foul, it had only been a 15-yard penalty. Okay.
Right.
And then you got a chance to reset. And that makes it even tighter down there for them to try to throw the ball. So that's what I mean by knowing how to win, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I think if, you know, I watched the Philadelphia Eagles. They know how to win.
Right.
I mean, I've watched the last 2 games, and they go down to the last play, man. You know, they're behind, but they don't have any doubts in their mind that they're going to win the game.
That's right. It's a mental thing too. You know, they have to be prepared to win.
So I agree with you there.
That's true. But then I also think that you got to have a leader on that team, someone that's calm under pressure and someone that is not mistake prone in those situations. And usually that's your quarterback and your trigger man. And, you know, I just noticed the opening of that game, you know, some of the plays that he made were very unfortunate. And right before halftime, Auburn's driving, you got a chance, you think, okay, we may not get a touchdown, but at least we can get a field goal and tie this thing up going in at halftime. No, he threw an interception, you know. So I just don't understand why, you know, another quarterback really doesn't get the opportunity to learn through their mistakes. And it's kind of disappointing. Everybody talks about Milroe. Milroe got benched at the beginning of the year, okay? He couldn't throw the ball, all right? He was having issues. He and the offensive coordinator weren't on the same page, but they stuck with him. You know, they gave the other guys a chance, but they were so bad, they didn't have a choice but to put Milroe back in.
Nick Saban said, look, I don't care what the assistants are saying.
Right.
Milroe.
I'm going back to Milroe, okay?
Right.
And it paid off.
And
everybody talking about his ability to run. We have somebody that can run just like that.
Right.
We have a quarterback that's 6'3", 220 pounds, that's fast and has a rocket arm. But nobody cared to make him better.
Yeah.
Okay.
That makes sense in an NIL deal we talked about, you know, previous shows. If there's a large investment in a player, that's probably who they're going to go with, though, because they're getting pressure from whoever sponsored that player. So that may have played into it, Michael. It shouldn't have ever played into a decision like that, because again, we should be playing to win. Put the best people out there on the field and try to win all the games you can.
I'll say this. I think it was a huge mistake, and I think anybody, and it's afterthought, you know, hey, this is what is Tuesday morning coaching.
Right.
But Milroe was the most dangerous guy on the field.
Oh, yes.
And we only rushed 2 guys at the end. Yeah. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
You know, we gave him forever to throw the ball.
Yeah.
You know, and you got to make him throw it under some kind of duress, some kind of stress, you know.
Yeah, 4th and 31 with 31 seconds on the clock. You know, you got to put pressure on the quarterback. And we didn't do that this time.
Well, especially Milroe, because he had killed us the whole game.
Yes.
You know, now maybe he couldn't run 31 yards, but he could throw 31 yards.
So
obviously.
true.
Obviously, he could.
Obviously, he can. Yeah, my heart goes out to the players, especially those seniors on Auburn's team. You know, I saw them on the field after the game in tears, just lying there on the field. You know, they put everything they had into that game and really wanted to win and thought they had it won. So
they did. They played hard, and,
they did.
And I'm proud of them.
Me too.
But you know,
hard, and they really want to win, and they've got to reestablish some tradition. We were talking about the show. You know, and I played a long time ago, but, you know, we never had a losing season.
Right.
We didn't lose games in Jordan-Hare. Right. That was just part of who we were.
Yes.
And when they can get that kind of confidence, that kind of swagger even,
right.
I think they'll come. You can play that hard and win.
Mm-hmm.
And playing that hard and losing is devastating.
Because you have to think you can win at all times, regardless of what the score is. You know, it's like the Cam back in Tuscaloosa, having Cam Newton as a leader, someone who was confident, believing that the team could win even when they're 24 points behind. When you have a leader with that type of caliber and that type of mentality, then it helps the team build in their confidence level. And Auburn did not have that on this past Saturday.
Well, they didn't have Saturday before.
Yeah, and I don't know what that was. Maybe they just overlooked New Mexico State, but when you're struggling, it's tough.
Yes.
So
I've read where the Coach Freeze said that the play at the end, they had two plays they had worked on. One was the one that they put in. That's the one they decided to go with. And it was one where they actually put pressure and rushed the passer. But they felt like Melrose had been beating them all game long. They would go this route. Well, I kind of have to disagree. And I know hindsight is 20/20. But in that particular instance, if we had rushed forward with a spy just to put pressure on him, it would have sped the game up. You know, you can only guard, a DB can only guard a receiver for a few seconds.
Right.
If you give a quarterback an opportunity to just stand back there and wait for a receiver to get open, they all will pick you apart.
That's right.
You know? So that's the part that I didn't understand. And we did do a pretty good job of corralling him when they were rushing for earlier with the spy. That was the most success. That's why I would have gone with that.
well, and what's the likelihood that he'll run 31 yards?
0.
Yeah, very little.
Yeah. But if he ran for 31 yards, you just say, okay, fine, you beat us, but we gave you our best effort right there.
Right.
But it didn't look like they were really getting the best effort. They were trying to outsmart them, and they outsmarted themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, again, the kids played hard. It was unfortunate. And you know, based on what happened the week before, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't expecting us to win. And then when we forced the punt and we were going to get the ball back, I said, damn, we might win this thing. And then the boy slipped up and fumbled the punt. And
right.
Yeah. I just wanted them to show up, and they showed up. So that's all I was looking for, was just show up.
Right.
And they did.
Well, hopefully we'll get a good bid for a bowl game, and they'll show up again. We'll see. But
they didn't embarrass themselves. They didn't.
Right.
Everybody. They played hard. And,
yes.
You know, Alabama know they got away with one. But
They said that's the revenge for the kick six. So.
Yeah, they can have it. Yeah,
that's right.
They can have it.
If we have to give up one, we'll do it this year. So
we'll see. So Barbara, how was your Thanksgiving?
I had a wonderful Thanksgiving, Tom. Got a chance to spend Thanksgiving with some friends, good friends, and it was a great Thanksgiving. Ate a lot, watched some football, and enjoyed the day. Enjoyed the full weekend, actually.
Good games this weekend.
Oh, yes.
Throughout the weekend. Michael, how about you? How was your Thanksgiving?
It was pretty nice. It was very comfortable, a lot of rest and relaxation, I should say. Hanging out in the Caribbean, eating a lot of fresh seafood and fruit and stuff. And
don't rub it in, Michael.
It was cool.
And the weather, I'm sure, is beautiful.
Well, yes, 85 degrees the whole time, even 85 at night, and it's breezy, so it wasn't really too hot,
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's great location.
It's a balmy, I think it's a balmy 36 here this morning. So
yeah, I fly back tonight and I looked at the weather forecast and said in Atlanta it's going to be about 37 degrees when we land. So I got a dress for that, so I'll be hot leaving here.
Well, good deal. Okay, Michael, you got anything else for us?
Yeah, I got a couple things for you. You got to be very, very careful nowadays when you're using electronics and what have you. There's a lady in Atlanta, Georgia, that ended up paying $7,000 for a Subway sandwich, because she went to Subway to get an Italian sub and used her credit card from Bank of America to pay for it. and she was trying to get her points, redeem her points. And you have to put your phone number in, I guess, to do this. Well, somehow when she was putting in her phone number, the screen switched to tips. And so the first part of her phone number, 7,051, whatever it is, went on the tip line. And the transaction went through, costing her over $7,000 for this Subway that she usually pays $7 for. And the manager at the Subway refused to discuss it with her. And then her bank sent her a denial letter. And so she was going around and around, and she went to the news station and they did a story on it. So now the bank is saying they're going to try to work something out there, and same with the television station.
Try to work something out.
Wow.
They got somebody who with a much more even temperament than I would have had. Try to work something out.
She said she could have flown to Italy and got a sandwich for that amount.
That's horrible.
That is horrible.
Wow.
It is. But I don't know what's going on. We've got a lot of issues. There's a veteran from down in Florida. He was a Marine, proud Marine, one of the few, and the proud.
Now, let me cut you off just for a minute. You said down in Florida. That already means it's going to be weird.
Okay, well, you're right. This poor guy was getting $2,400 a month, Social Security and his vet's pension. Well, he received a letter that for 11 years he was overpaid, and he now owes the Veterans Administration $100,000 because they were unable to verify his income due to a glitch within their own system, and supposedly he didn't tell them what his income was. He said, I'm getting paid Social Security and from the vets. I thought they knew what they were paying me.
Exactly.
I didn't think I had
to. That's all the pay is coming from the government. Why does he have to verify?
Yeah. So now they are claiming that he's not going to get any more of his veteran pension until he pays back the $100,000. He's gone to seek his help of his representative, his congressman there, and they're saying, the VA has had plenty of issues with this, and this went on for 11 or 10 years now, and then they just caught it. Now, wow. To add insult to injury, when they sent him the letter telling him that he owed them $100,000, they put at the bottom of it, how to manage financial stress, call the 1-800-suicide line.
Oh my God.
Wow.
He said, terrible. They're the ones that put me in this situation. The man is 72 years old and living in a mobile home.
Wow. That's amazing.
It is.
Amazing.
You can't write this. You can't make this stuff up.
No,
you cannot. Cannot.
You couldn't. That's incredible. Well, but you said it was Florida, so that we knew it was going to be weird. I see where your well, he's not your senator. I guess he's Barbara's senator.
Don't give him to me.
He's back in the news. And,
what has he done now, Thom?
Well, I don't think he's done anything. That's the problem.
Oh, okay.
They're all over him, and even some of the Republican senators are on him. Yeah. About his stand.
Yes.
But, I don't. Yeah, he's continuing to do what he's been doing. That's blocking the promotions and the nominations. So.
I don't know who's backing him, who's pushing him, but somebody is, and he's crazy enough to listen to him because he's committing political suicide. That's
he's backed himself in a corner now. I think he'll definitely have some people. Well, he's only been in there a couple of years, 3 years, maybe.
Not even 3, I don't think. Just maybe 2 years now.
Maybe 2. So he's got 4 more years.
He was there a year before Trump came, and then once Trump came, he aligned himself with Trump, I think. So he's been there for a while. But when you're a senator, you're elected to 6-year terms. So,
right. Well, let me ask you guys. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying this may be his 3rd year.
Okay. Did you guys see Dolly Parton at halftime?
Yes.
I did not. I heard about her. I saw it before the game that they were showing
the cowgirl.
The cowgirl. Dolly Her cowgirl outfit. It's what 77 years old.
She was great.
And people were talking about her on social media. I was like, Dolly's paid a lot of money for that body. Let her show it. Let her show it off if she wants to.
She did.
She's got a lot of money invested in that.
Yeah, she did great.
Yes.
7 years old.
Yes.
Anybody got anything else?
I do. I want to talk about women's basketball for a second, Tom.
Okay.
First, I want to say Auburn University women's basketball team will be playing UAB in Birmingham on this coming Sunday. And I hope all the Auburn fans in the Birmingham area will come out and support our women's team. I'm on a thing this year where we want to make sure that we support our women. There was an article in the Plainsman last week that our women's sports teams don't get the support that our men's team get, never have. So
True.
I would hope that we have a lot of people come out for that particular game. If anyone's interested in group tickets, please contact me in Birmingham. We were able to get a group rate of $5 per ticket rather than $12. So let us know if you want to join us for that game on Sunday. And
where will they contact you?
They can contact me through social media. Those that are on social media, and otherwise they can call me. My number is 205-616-4361.
Okay, that's good.
And I wanted to get y'all's opinion about. I'm sorry, what is that, Tom?
No, go ahead. I just said you said you had two things.
Yeah, Angel Reese not playing at LSU. What's going on with that?
That's what I was going to ask you guys. What's up with that?
There's some talk that it may be grades related. She's saying it's not. But she played the first half of a game on November 14th and got pulled and hadn't played since. So there's a lot of rumors out there as to what's happening, but no one knows for certain what's going on.
What are the rumors?
Rumors are there's a social media spat between her and the mother of another player on the team, which again doesn't make any sense. Why would they pull Angel and not the other player? So that doesn't sound right. And then, of course, the situation with the game. I mean, with her grades, they're saying that she didn't make the grades. But again, she played the first half of a game. They didn't find out mid-game that her grades were bad. So that doesn't make a lot of sense either. So I don't know. Kim Mulkey's being real tight-lipped about it. So no one knows what's happening.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a strange one to me. At first, it kind of insinuated that she was taking ill-advised three-pointers at that game that she got pulled in the first half, the one that they lost, that they were favored to beat this team, and they ended up losing to some team they never should have lost to. But it was kind of insinuated that she was taking ill-advised three-pointers, and was missing it, and that's why she got pulled. But now it's drug on to other things. I've heard the same thing you said about the grades and stuff, and she's denied that, but I don't know. It's obvious something's going on behind the scenes there. And
grades, you can just say that. I mean,
right.
She's the first athlete to have the grade issue.
And again, they didn't find out about her grades mid-game. Again, she played the first half of the game and pulled her in the middle of the game. So grades doesn't seem like that's the logical reason for it. But
wasn't she pretty big in the NIL?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Yeah, my personal opinion, I think it has something to do with that stuff and the way she's been promoting herself. I don't know, but that's just the way I feel.
That was the impression I got, that maybe she was, how coaches are. They don't like for you to be too big for your britches, so to speak. And, when they won that championship and she showed up, that other girl, the one from Iowa, I think it is, or whatever.
Yes. Yes.
She was the queen of the ball, and then to not be playing is it's more than kind of interesting.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. So, Barbie, you got anything else?
No, that's all I have. Thank you.
You, Michael?
Just one quick thing is that, you need to get your parents to really make sure that they get their house in order. There's an 84-year-old lady in Alabama, lives right outside of Auburn in the Moores Mill Road. She's going to be forced to sell her place that she's lived on for over 60-something years. She inherited this land, at least she thought she did, from her late husband. And the property could be valued at over $20 million. And the way it's set up is that it's joint tenants in common. It's the way it's set up, which basically means if one person decides they want to sell their interest, everybody else has to. And there's a development company there by the name of the Cleveland Brothers, and they have been for years buying up small sections of the property from the other family members. Now they own 49%, and they're going to court to try to force the sale. And most recently in that area, a 2-acre piece of property sold for $500,000, basically $250K an acre. And this is a 40-acre plot. So,
and I assume they're trying to sell her, trying to purchase it for her under market value.
Yeah, trying to purchase her part of it. And the court is saying that she can't go and buy it all because her husband never indicated that he wanted to do that, which I don't really get that.
Okay? I don't get that either.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Just based on what you read, if the company has bought up 49%, that means she's on 51%. But her 51% is not majority rule because it's joint tenants in common. And so they are trying, and for them to put that in there kind of tells me there's something going on behind that to say that she can't buy it up because her husband never indicated that he wanted to buy it up. How do they know? He may have passed away before he was able to get it changed or whatever.
Well,
but if he owns 51%, he should be able to buy, or she should be able to buy the rest of it, but they're saying that she can't.
Where is this?
This is in Auburn,
Auburn,
suburbs of Auburn, on Morris Mill Road, where all the development is going. And it's a 40-acre plot worth $20 million. So you know if it's worth appraised value at $20 million, okay, you know they're gonna get that money for, they're gonna get that property for a small amount, and they're gonna take that and turn it into 120 million, if not more.
Yes,
no doubt, especially down there at this time.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if she got somebody helping her. She's got a good attorney.
It didn't say.
I hope so.
It didn't say that, but it would be nice if she does.
And she's been living there a long time.
Yes.
She's
84 years old now.
And she got adult children?
Yes.
Are they helping her?
Doesn't sound like they know what to do.
So they are. I say, well, I was going to say they're poor people, not necessarily in terms of money, but in terms of what to do, intellect.
Right.
So, okay. They've never had to deal with anything. Well, none of us have never had to deal with anything like this, but you at least you know people who can fight for you.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Is she, I'm going to ask you this because I know that area, she's a Black woman?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. And her husband's father bought that property a long time ago, and it's been handed down for generations. And now it's at this value.
You know, a lot of that property down there ended up in different hands. Let me put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's why you protect that property you have down there.
That's right.
Sophia.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah. Because you can see what's going on here, you know, for them to say she can't buy it. Why can't she buy it?
Right.
You know?
It's America. And we're still in America.
And Michael, that area where you own property, I mean, I'm surprised they haven't taken it over. I think they're moving in that direction, though, aren't they?
Well, they're expanding. They've done a streetscape there, and they're expanding the sidewalks and all this type of stuff. But, you know, there is some discussion regarding development in that area and stuff. But this is by the people that own the property themselves, not by others.
Right. Okay. Good.
One of the questions in the chat says, do we know who is representing her?
I do not.
No.
The article did not specify.
All right. Well, let's move on. We got to get going here. Let's get Sean in. She's got a minute. John?
Good morning to everyone joining in with us. My name is Shantia Jones, and this is Got a Minute. I hope everyone had a great holiday, weekend, or time off if you had it. I got a chance to relax, hang out with my family, and watch some football with my dad. Speaking of football, did you know that gridiron football player Ernie Davis of Syracuse University became the first African American to win the prestigious Heisman Trophy in 1961? Ernie Davis was a high school All-American in football and basketball. Widely recruited to play running back in college, Ernie chose to attend Syracuse University in part because it was the school of his idol, Jim Brown. Davis wore Brown's number 44 at Syracuse, and in his sophomore year, he led the Orangemen to an undefeated season and a national championship. He was named an All-American in both his junior and senior seasons at Syracuse, and in 1961, he was awarded the Heisman Trophy as the most outstanding player in American college football. So, he was the first African American to do so. Happy football season. Thank you all for joining in. My name is Shantia Jones, and this has Got a Minute.
All right. Let's see. Hollywood's got the A list, and here on Tuesdays with Thom, we've got the G list, and our G list guest today is Justin King. Justin King is a singer at Auburn University. He's from Brentwood, Tennessee. He has served in the Beat Bama Food Drive the past 4 campaigns and as the president in this past year's 30th drive. The Beat Bama Food Drive is a 7-week food drive benefiting the Food Bank of East Alabama. This was the 30th year, serving with the food bank to raise food and monetary donations supporting the 7 surrounding counties. Let's welcome Justin King. Justin, how are you, man?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
Good morning. Thank you for being here with us. We appreciate it. Just tell us about the food drive, how you got involved, and so on and so forth. We'll go from there.
Yeah, so you kind of hit on it a little bit, but it's a 7-week food drive in partnership with the Food Bank of East Alabama, benefiting the 7 counties. And it's a great tradition that we've really built over the last 30 years. You said it's founded in 1994, this being the 23-24 scholastic year. It's really become a part of this community. I got involved 4 years ago. I'm an out-of-state student, so I'm especially coming here during the COVID year, didn't really know anybody, no real campus events, no anything. And so I had some great leaders in my life kind of lead me to that organization because they were still functioning that year. You know, that's the thing about food insecurity is that it doesn't stop when times get hard. And so thankfully, they continued, and it is a student-led organization. That's what's been so great about it is pretty much everything that goes into it is student crafted. And so I started that year as a committee member. It was pretty much just Zoom meetings, raising monetary donations, stuff like that, because we couldn't really do anything out in the campus, out in the community. It was just too dangerous at the time. And so my sophomore year, I took a director position. Through that, spent a lot of time planning campus events and stuff. One of my actually BBFD testimony stories is I go up to Michigan every summer to visit my grandparents. And so I was playing bingo with some of the seniors one night. And won and had a great time. And I was like, people would love to do this to fight food insecurity. And so we came back and planned an event and had a Bo Jackson football that was the grand prize. And people are sitting there with 10 cards in front of them playing. I'm like, this is what really it's all about. It's just an idea that kind of morphs into an event. And then all of a sudden you're helping people. And so that really inspired me to take a step. Last year, I was vice president of administration, which was overseeing our committee. We had our largest committee other than this year. Last year went from just around 150 to 200 people to over 500. So that kind of tells you the growth, especially that I've seen really in the past 4 years. It's been phenomenal. And then this year I took on presidents. Been a great honor, one of my greatest honors. I can't say enough good things about what this organization has done.
Well, you guys must have done a heck of a year this year. 2023, you raised you got 686,807 pounds of food to give away. That's amazing. What'd you guys do differently this year?
It was impressive. That's something, especially in the 30th year, that we wanted to kind of honor, is do as much as we can for the food bank. And this year has been historic in every aspect. You look at the number that you just read, that's the highest number that's ever been raised by either team. Throughout the drive, we had more campus events, higher in number. We had a larger committee. I said that earlier, but we had over 600 people this year. And then neighborhood drives, which is something that we do. We go and put neighborhood bags out in the community. Raised over 10,000 pounds in one of them. That was an all-time record. So things like that, it's really been a surge of just campus and community engagement and support.
Man, that's absolutely wonderful. I'm just curious. I know we got some other questions, but starting school in the beginning of the COVID, man, that must have been something, So you couldn't really, I don't know. I mean, you couldn't do the things you normally think about in college, I guess. So how'd you manage?
It's weird. I think the first time I actually went to class, it was towards the end of that second semester, my freshman year, and it was optional. It really is. You think of where you go out and meet people, it's on campus. It's through organizations like that. So you're kind of just stuck there. You can't leave your room. It's the whole A Healthier You program. And so you can't even really walk into some buildings because it's maximum capacity of 15 people. It's a different world, definitely. And especially as someone in that transition year of, maybe an elementary kid going to middle school, high school, going to college. It's a transition period that you don't really want to get stuck in for something like that. And so that's where I was definitely grateful for the food drive, because it was a community that you find.
Barbara?
Good morning, Justin. How are you today?
Good.
Good. We didn't beat Bama this year. We basically demolished Bama, and so compared to Alabama, we raised twice as much, at least twice as much as they did this year.
They raised 324,000, so we were just over double it.
Wow, that is awesome! Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, what made you want to get involved from the very beginning?
I mentioned it earlier. I've had some great, I'd call leaders in my life, kind of inspire me to do a lot of things that have been great for me. My brother was an Auburn graduate as well. And so one of his friends, he graduated 2 years ago, but one of his friends was involved in the food drive. And so that's somebody, I told you couldn't really go out and find your own community. That's one that came to me, somebody that cared about my brother and, in turn reached out to me and said, hey, this is a really good thing. I think you could be involved in. And I took that step and never looked back. It's
That's great. That's great. Thank you. And how did it get started? I know it's been over 30 years, since the first drive. Do you know how it got started? Who were the influencers who actually started the food drive?
So the food bank has been, I'd say, probably our biggest focal point for that. Martha, who is the executive director there, she's seen it since the beginning. And so that's just been kind of the food drive from an Auburn standpoint has changed a lot because we've just moved around what is student involvement. It used to be located in the student government board, from what I'm understanding. And now, we're one of the largest student-led organizations on campus. So I would say definitely it started at the food bank because we say it all the time. We couldn't exist without them.
Right.
We work to benefit the food bank.
Awesome. Thank you.
Michael?
Yeah, well, good morning, Justin. Thanks for being with us. And let me say congratulations on the milestones that you were able to accomplish under your leadership. That right there probably just opened up several doors for you in the nonprofit world, if that's an area you want to go into, because it definitely shows that you have a skill set for that. I'd like to ask you, when you said that it was based on 7 counties surrounding the Auburn area, what's the criteria for the counties to meet in order to qualify for support from the food bank?
So that's, from my understanding, pretty much determined by the food bank. It's actually, I think when you look at the map, it's like 6 point something, because one of the counties that we share is with another food bank that it serves. It's pretty much as many as the food bank can sustain. That's something that they'll tell you a lot, especially since COVID. It's really hard to keep stuff on the shelves because there's just so much need in the state of Alabama. Last year it was the 48th worst in the country for food insecurity, which is really not a great thing. And so that's where the food bank obviously would love to help as many people as possible, but that's where they're kind of limited by supplies, by workers. They've had staff shortages throughout the whole drive. And that's been something that we really tried to do, is put bodies at the food bank to help, sort food, clean donations, all the above, even the little things like that, just take off a huge burden. So to answer that, I'm not precisely sure what they have to do to qualify. It's more geographic and just the 7 counties surrounding it. And you look at Alabama's for the West Alabama Food Bank, they serve a couple more counties than us, but it's just the geographic region around them.
Okay. All right. Well, and that's tremendous work and what have you. So I'm really proud of what you've been able to accomplish. And a follow-up question to that, in Atlanta, there are stories that are being done about certain neighborhoods that are food insecure right within the city of Atlanta. So my question to you, based on your experience there, what do you think causes food insecurity other than the obvious? Is it other underlying things other than from an economic situation?
Yeah, that's obviously the biggest one, is economic, because if you just cannot afford to purchase food, then there's no way you can have it. And food insecurity is, by definition, is just not knowing where your next meal is going to come from. And that can come as a matter of circumstance too. You think of families who are spread super thin, maybe working a lot to support their family. Even if the economics are there, they might not be able to eat because they're at work all day and never had an opportunity, or maybe the kids would suffer because they couldn't get home to do that. So a lot of times it really just comes from difficulty of circumstance. You could have a catastrophic event happen in your family and you're having to take care of somebody else, and your priorities shift. And that's the thing about your physical health, is it's something that we kind of take for granted, in the aspect of like when it's doing well, you don't really realize that you're doing well, but when you're doing poor, you realize you're like, I feel bad, and sometimes you realize it's maybe you haven't eaten in a day and a half. There's even times throughout the day, you go, say you're a student. It's really prevalent on Auburn's campus. I believe it's close to 1 in 3 students on Auburn's campus struggle with food insecurity. Our campus food pantry gets a lot of traction nowadays from students that just come in, grad students especially too. So you look at that, they choose between paying rent, teaching a class. It really is just a total accumulation of all those circumstances of maybe lack of time and money.
So let me, Michael, you good?
No, I'm fine. Thank you for that explanation.
So you're a senior, so are you graduating this year? And what's your major, and where are you looking to go?
I'll be graduating in May. And so my major, I'm studying law and justice and business here at Auburn. And so I'm planning on going to law school next year. I'm in the applications process, as we speak. So by hopefully, February, March, April, we're knowing where I'm off to then. But I'm excited.
That's great.
Where are you going?
So
where do you want to go? Let me put it that way.
Schools that I've grown up loving. I always loved Vanderbilt. My uncle went to Tennessee, couldn't stand Tennessee. And so Vanderbilt's one of my top schools, especially if I want to go back to Nashville, would be great. I'm shooting high though. I don't want to say it to sound I don't know, pretentious or whatever, but Cornell's up there, Harvard's up there for me. That's something I kind of realized just by always going to class, always studying for tests, is that when you kind of make the right choice, sometimes it just pays off, and you can be like, I'm actually, kind of at this door for like those schools I want to go to purposes.
Good for you, man.
That's great.
We got a question that says, are you aware of any level of shortages for grocery stores in those county areas?
As far as shortage of supplies?
I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah, that's been a big thing across the state, and something they're trying to make easier too. At the beginning of our drive, Governor Ivey cut back the grocery store tax a little bit. And so that's something that especially the legislation is working to balance. There's different times of production throughout the year, shortages of food, stuff that are out of our control that is definitely that domino effect that can lead into even more food insecurity. Michael, you asked earlier of other factors. Maybe someone's allergic to something, and that's the only option that they can afford.
Right.
Then that would create, another instance of food insecurity.
Right.
Okay. Justin, what did you say your major would be in law? What type of law would you specialize in?
So I've gone back and forth. There's a lot of things that I'm interested in. I've talked to a couple people in Nashville who do entertainment law, work with Chris Stapleton, some really big artists up there. Some people work with the Titans. That's always been an interest for me. I've been going to Titans games since I was a kid. You can see my flag in the pack back there. It's a Titans flag. All of that's, my dad used to play the drums. So that's kind of stuff that I enjoy, but also too, what I like studying. I can't stay away from constitutional law. Like, I love reading case law for some reason. And so stuff like that. I interned up in Washington, D.C. this summer. And so a lot of that kind of inspired me towards that route as well, of, kind of what can you actually impact.
You have attorneys in your family?
I have one attorney in my family, and it's my dad's sister, and her and I had the first conversation about law over Thanksgiving break this last week. Really has not had a big impact in my aspirations to practice, and that's not a negative thing, but that just kind of tells you, I've kind of inspired myself to want to do this in a way.
That's great.
Good for you, man.
Yes, yes.
Well, I was going to say, you're going back to Nashville, so obviously Vanderbilt, you ain't going there for the football. So,
so funny story about Vanderbilt. So I don't know if you've seen their stadium right now. It's in absolute shambles. They're doing construction on it, and so I went back home for the Vanderbilt game when Auburn played them. And I'm walking through there, and I've gone to Vandy games before, as a kid, and I'm walking in the way I usually do, and I'm going down a 100-yard this way, 50 yards this way of just fenced in, like 2x2, shoulder-to-shoulder traffic walking through Vanderbilt's thing. I ended up going through the basketball stadium arena to get into the football stadium.
Wow.
They're taking a picture of the thing, and the security guard's like, "Hey, don't do that." I'm like, "You're sending me through here. I might as well." I mean, it was the most difficult stadium I think I've ever had to walk in, not because of the actual stadium, but because of the poor timing of the construction. I was like, this is so Vandy.
It's a great school.
Yes, it is.
It is not known for that, but known for the academics nonetheless.
We wish you well. One of my good friends, he played at Vanderbilt when I was playing at Auburn. And we used to kid him and say, "What do y'all do at halftime? Study?"
Yeah, I mean, they're giving out free jerseys as the giveaway for the students. It was like, this would be great at Auburn, except they don't entice us to come that badly.
Barbara, Michael, you got any other questions for Justin?
I do. I have another question, Justin. In addition to collection bins on campus for items to be donated. And you mentioned the community food drive. How do you get others involved? I know I'm in Birmingham. I'm a member of the Greater Birmingham Auburn Club, and I know we were collecting food here. But is that something that all clubs in other areas do, or how else are items being donated?
Yeah, it's really spread our outreach. That's something our team worked hard this year. Is one idea we had was get a donation from every 50 state. Obviously, the easiest one is money because it just transfers over so easily. You could be hundreds of miles away and it goes, to the food bank's donation account. But as far as you said, the clubs have been huge. And just alumni groups of people have even driven in bags from like Montgomery to donate them to us. It's obviously harder with stuff like that because you have to transport it. And that's something we've worked is kind of trying to ease that process.
Mm-hmm.
But schools were really big, especially in the Auburn community, that kind of reached out and said, hey, we want to do this. We'll supply the barrels and stuff, but the campus ones are really art, plan, place, pickup. But some people have just reached out and said, hey, you mind if we put a barrel here? Tons of businesses downtown in Toomer's Corner. Put a barrel there just to support. And that's a testament to, the culture that we've created of, it's actually the Auburn family, that's supporting it now.
Right. That's great.
Okay. Anything else from anybody?
Well, Justin, I'd just like to ask, I know that the counter to Auburn would be Alabama. Do they do one Beat Auburn Food Drive? Is that how that works and the competition between the two of you guys?
So that's one of the great part about our kind of relationship with them. There's other food drives throughout the SEC. We do something in the spring called SEC Food Fight. And that's amongst pretty much all the SEC schools except 2 or 3. And so like Texas A&M has something called 12th Can, but there's no counterpart to it. And so you look at ours, it's Beat Auburn, Beat Hunger that they have. And they do theirs with the West Alabama Food Bank. And so that's been a partnership since the beginning of a competition between the two schools. The Iron Bowl's one of, if not the greatest rivalry in the country. And so they partner with their food bank, obviously to raise as many as possible. And so do we. And something that's remarkable we did this year is we still flipped a joint million. We did that last year, but that's something that's never really happened in the past of even getting close to that number. And so we did very well this year. Obviously it was very high, but that's something that, I applaud them too, is that our number still joint flip to that million.
That's great. Is there any trophy that passes between you and the Alabama counterpart when you guys beat them?
There's a trophy that I've never seen because apparently it's been sitting in Tuscaloosa for the past couple of years. So that's something that I'm going to be working to return back to Auburn's campus.
Well, it seems like you deserve it because you raised 680-something thousand pounds of food, which was what I think you said 120,000 more than they did. So I think that trophy belongs in your office, young man.
That's right.
No, I agree. An all-time record should get a nice little trophy to go with it.
Right.
Yeah, you better watch them. They'll claim something they didn't really win.
Yeah, you look at all the media publications, and sometimes it doesn't always mention our number in it as well. So then you see the joint number, and if you do some math, you'd be like,
Yeah.
Hey man, well, I just want to say to you, you mentioned Cornell, Harvard, Yale, Vanderbilt in terms of going to law school. You didn't want to sound, I guess, cocky or whatever, but hey, be cocky, man. It'll get you where you want to go. And if these are great schools, and we look forward to seeing you down the road, and maybe whatever end of the law you go into, you'll be able to help people like that lady Michael mentioned they're trying to take her property, or the woman who paid $7,000 for a sandwich. Maybe
I agree, and especially kind of with the way I'm starting to think more legal minded. That was the first thing I thought to, of like who's representing her, who's going to get her out of this. So
yeah. Okay, Justin, you got anything else for us?
I don't. I appreciate you all coming on or having me on. It's things like this even help our cause so much, spreading awareness. I say that all the time of no contribution is too small. People always think it has to come from $1 or a can or a physical hour worked. It's even just spreading the message, being a good person is the most important part. So I definitely thank you all for taking your time with me this morning.
We appreciate you being here, and I wish you well on the next part of your journey.
Thank you.
Should be fun, and I'm sorry the team didn't win. And you said you had your camera already, and that's last play. But that's the way it goes sometimes, you know. And,
can't always go your way, but yeah, I said it earlier. We're a food drive school, so we'll at least make that one happen.
I just thought it was funny. You said something about Alabama was 48th. Well, we've moved up one because we used to be 49 and everything. We used to be, thank God for Mississippi. So we good to know we've moved up a point or two. So let me, anything else from anybody? Okay, well, we're going to move on. I appreciate it. So let me move on to my question. Or as I see it, I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving has many meanings to many people. This Thanksgiving for us was quiet and great at the same time. Oh, there was good football. There was good food. There were phone calls with really good friends, buddies who I've known for many, many years, and got a chance to hoot and holler with them over the phone, tell the same stories we always tell, but somehow or another, they're just as funny as when we told them the first time. Communicated with our son and his family. We'll visit them during Christmas. And we got a great visit from Carter Boy and his wife Iris, and then two darling little girls, Quinn and Landry. Carter Boy, his name is Carter. I stuck him with the name Carter Boy a while back. Carter Boy and his dad and mom and sister were our next door neighbors when we moved here 22 years ago. He was excited to meet me when we first met because he heard before we moved in that I'd played football at Auburn, and he was a staunch Alabama fan. He was shy, but he was happy to meet me, and he had plenty of questions. He went out for the B team football team. He invited me to one of his games. I went. The B team level was as high as Carter Boy was going to go, but that was okay because it was special for him. Carter Boy would go on to graduate from the University of Alabama. He married and moved to California, and now he and his family live in Austin, Texas. They come to visit his parents once or twice a year, and it's great to see him grow up. He always brings his family over, his two little girl, Quinn and Landry, and they call me Mr. Thom. Carter Boy, we're still friends, and I'm thankful for that. And that's how I see it on this 28th day of November, the year 2023. That's our show for today. I want to thank the audience. We appreciate you. We want to thank our G-List guest, Justin King, and wish him the best in his future endeavors. Thank our sponsor, Best Girl Inc. Thanks again to the TWT team, Barbara, Sean, Emily, and Michael and Joyce. And that's it for this November 28th. Remember, a day without a smile is a day wasted. If you've got an extra one, give one to someone else today. Enjoy yourself. Make every day count. Stay safe. Peace.